All right, peeps, back for another dating relationship periscope. We are rolling. We are rolling. What's up? What's up? How are we doing here? How are we doing here? We got some fun wines to start off with. Now, I know that I said in the COVID cabal yesterday that we would be doing the Campanian whites because we had just done the main Campania reds, right? We did Irpinia and we did the famous Taurasi, which, guys, I gotta tell you, I was like, it's good, it smells really great. It's not quite as expressive as I wanted. I gotta tell you guys, later on the night, that wine became so good. It became so good. It's like one of those the texture of it. It has that texture of a wine that has been aged appropriately. That just like you could just drink it nonstop. You never want to stop drinking that wine. You drown in drinking it. I don't know why Alito threw the PA case out. We'll talk about that stuff tomorrow. But guys, doesn't matter. We have the Texas stuff went in. Louisiana joined suit. Don't stress about it. Detach from all this stuff. Well, guys, it's looking for some wine to celebrate. Well, the wine of celebration is always going to be champagne. The wine of celebration is always going to be champagne. So I recommend that. And, I recommend actually splurging and getting a champagne if you can afford it rather than Prosecco. Because I think Prosecco is, that's like, it's brunch. You got a bunch of drunk millennial girls going on Prosecco. It's kind of like, it's lost its luster. So I think we should go back to champagne for celebrations. If you just want to have some Prosecco, nothing wrong with Prosecco. But let's not give it the cachet. In fact, I gotta tell you guys, one of my biggest pet peeves around wine, like actually gets me pissed off, is when a menu says comes with a glass of champagne or there'll be champagne, and then you get there and it's not champagne, Prosecco or some shit. Even if it's like California sparkling wine, which is better than Prosecco. Fuck that stuff. See, yeah, Veuve's good. Veuve's good, but I have to say, Veuve is expensive for what you get. Veuve has a ton of marketing behind it. So you know what you're getting, and that's cool. There are a lot of you can get champagne for like 30% less that tastes better. And I've had it in blind tastings. Now, unfortunately, I don't really have ones that come to mind too much. Um, I have to admit, guys, champagne's not my level of expertise, but we will be doing some champagnes. I think you can expect when we'll be doing some champagnes. But that's a couple weeks from now, so we'll wait for that, and then we're going to become champagne experts together, going through all the champagne. But for now, so we were doing Campania yesterday. Remember, we did Taurasi, which is that incredible red, and then Irpinia, which is just kind of the basic red from the area. We were going to do Fiano de Avellino and Greco de Tufo, okay, the two big whites of the area. But we actually have some whites opened in the house, so I think I'm going to save that for tomorrow's COVID cabal, and we're going to swing over to Aglianico del Volture and Ciro. Now, Aglianico del Volture, this is where my family's from. My Italian family is from somewhere around here. I don't really actually know. I haven't been there yet, but around here. And this is the only wine region of note in Basilicata. Only nice one. It's built it's on an extinct volcano, very high elevation, 2,500 feet. Guys, the thing to understand about this area is that Aglianico del Volture can be better than Taurasi. It has the same potentiality as Taurasi. They're both Aglianicos, both raised on volcanoes, high altitude volcanoes. The difference is that Aglianico del Volture has enormous variation in quality because some winemakers just don't fucking suck and don't care and use the brand, and other ones really put work into it. So Taurasi, Louisiana joined Texas. It's gonna be fine, guys. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about it. It's gonna be fine. So Taurasi and Aglianico del Volture, they are technically the same, but Taurasi has a lot more consistency because the brand is more established for the appellation. So we're going to see if this Aglianico del Volturre is going to be a good one. Ciro is an interesting area. Ciro is the only appellation of note in Calabria, the toe. So it uses a very different kind of grape. The grape is actually known to be the parent of Sangiovese. So that caused a big thing. I haven't had Ciro wine since I was in wine school. It's been a long time. And so let's go try it out. Let's see how they taste. I want to make sure this is even. And guys, I'm going to tell you ahead of time. That there's no way I'm going to get to all the questions. You guys have been giving me so many questions. So what we're going to do, we got this one tonight. We got Kova Cabal tomorrow. We got the next day in relationship Periscope day after. I'm not going anywhere. There's just no transit. So we should be able to just bang these out. Try to get caught up on all these questions. Ooh, this is giving off a nail polish kind of smell. That happens sometimes with reds. It needs to open up, I think, a little bit more. I opened these ones up early, actually. But it still needs to open up more. You can tell it's going to be good, but it's not there yet. It needs more air. RSD Tyler is not 5D. RSD is not a 5D organization. Let's put it that way. It's not 5D. But they did it. They are solidly 4D. They're solidly 4D. So this Ciro, just to talk about it a little bit. It's really tight. You get a lot of the oak. It just needs to open up. Because you get some of the berries, but then it shuts off. Everything shuts off really quickly with it. I don't know. David Data is 5D, no question about that. David Data is very 5D. I think Nick Sparks is 5D. Yeah, Nick Sparks is definitely 5D. And Christian Hudson was quite high up 4D, 5D borderline, which is why I like that organization a lot. All right. If you're blocked for advertising on my Periscope. All right. Aglianico. So this also needs to open up, but much better. You get some hints of what you would get on the Taurasi, some of that caramelization at the end, but you got like dark blackberries, forest fruit as they call it on this one. Aglianico. That's good. That's a good one. Just to give you guys, before we go on, just so you can see the wine, some of you guys like to get these bottles. Try them out for yourself. All right. So let's get these questions. Start hitting these questions. Crazy day today, guys. Crazy day. But I think the next couple of days I got an easier schedule. I was saying this on a call earlier today. I just have so much shit to move around in my house. So much shit. It's like we emptied our New York apartment these last 2 weeks, and my mom's losing it. She's losing it because we have just completely cluttered up their place with crap. My bedroom is literally just like covered in boxes. It's fucking ridiculous. It's too much stuff. And we have to try to figure out what we want to keep and what we want to leave, because we can't take this stuff to Poland, right? We can't take everything to Poland. It's going to be so expensive to take it to Poland. So got a lot of questions we have to figure out, but I just hate this stuff, man. I hate it. I hate doing this. It's not how my mind works. It's got like the women in the family are like all pouring over this stuff, and they're like, you need to move this. Hate this shit. This is not what I do. It's not what I do. Okay. I'm going to pay people to move all this crap out. So, all right, let's see here. First question. Trying to establish some attraction desire with a girl in my circle. Recently, she offhandedly mentioned she's recently started taking benzodiazepines and or SSRIs. Holy shit. I can sort of tell by her behavior that she's taking them. How much harder will this make it? Any difference you're aware of between the effects of benzos and SSRIs on young women in the 20 to 25 age range? Well, I don't know the difference in effect between benzos and SSRIs, but I think that the question is really asking about, do any of these drugs really affect the behavior? And of course, yeah, 100% they do. You can kind of feel women who are taking these drugs because there's I don't want to say it's as far as a flat effect. It's not a flat effect, but there is a flatness. There's a flatness to these girls, guys. There's a flatness to them. There's a flatness to them. They're not really excited about a lot. They're not excited about a lot. Now they might, not to say they're not going to have fun maybe at certain parties and whatnot, but when you're trying to interact with them, I don't know how to. It's very difficult to describe. It's like you can tell that their emotional range has been truncated. So if a woman who had been healthy would have these kind of highs and like it certainly stops your vibration from getting to a certain point. Let's put it that way. I think that, and I really feel I really feel this, guys. I really feel this, guys. Like I there are there's like a lot of different reasons why people might feel like they have to take SSRIs or whatever benzos, antidepressants. I get it. Life's tough. Sometimes you get some bad stuff happen to you. I and I know that some people have to wean their way off of it. I get all this stuff. You know me. I'm not black and white about this stuff, but they're not good for you. They're not good for you. And I think with extremely, extremely rare exceptions, you should not. You should be trying to live a life without taking this stuff. Everybody I know who takes them for long periods of time, it just like cuts off part of the life within you. And so maybe you don't go towards, it's like this, your range, maybe you drop down to here and you could go up to here. And so rather than try to work on, okay, what's making you go down here, you take these drugs and then what happens is this, your bottom goes to here, but your top goes to here. And so you have this little tiny range. I don't see anybody who takes these drugs that gets like really happy. Except maybe when they drink a little bit. They might get a little happy when they drink. So I don't recommend it. And the kind of bigger question here, which is that how much harder will it make it? It'll make it not necessarily harder to hook up with them, but I think here's a great example. Here's a great example of it. There's that movie that came out Midsummer. It's kind of creepy movie. I was not expecting it to be what it was. I was going to tell you guys, I was not expecting Midsummer to be the movie that it was. I did not know what movie it was getting into it. So it was kind of a curveball for me. But the protagonist girl in there is a total SSRI girl. She's just perfect example. I know bad things happen to her, but total SSRI girl. Birth control does this as well, but not to the same extent. I know birth control gets a big rap around these parts, and I am not saying that, I like that all these girls are hopped up on these pills. It's not healthy for them. But birth control is nothing compared to an SSRI. Okay. And there are many women who take birth control, and you notice minimal difference between the two things. It does affect other women, and it has some degree of a flattening because it also reduces hormonal range. But yeah, I mean, it's not like the SSRIs. It's a very different beast, guys. Very different beast. And also, let's keep in mind there's different levels of birth control. The pill has quite a bit, but if you were to get like I'm blanking on the name. I was going to say UTI, but that's actually a urinary tract infection. Maybe you guys know what I'm talking about. whatever, the copper coil. There's all sorts of different shit that they can get that's birth control. That's different than the pill. IUD. Thank you. IUD. That's it. So yeah, it's gonna affect things, but probably not gonna make it more difficult to fuck her. But she's gonna be less fun. I mean, my real point here is that SSRI girls are less fun. They don't have fun. They're not fun to be around. That's it. That's the point. I'm generalizing. They're just not really fun because you're kind of dealing with a shell. So yeah, it does sound like an explosive device, an IED. No, you're the explosive device. It's actually a protective mechanism. All right. So even though we haven't spoken directly much, I can't possibly find the words to express the impact you've had on my awakening process. I'm incredibly grateful for your presence on Earth. Well, thank you for that. Appreciate that. I've been able to increase my awareness of the different ways society has been manipulated against humanity in this 4D war via international central banking, intelligence operations, military intelligence, big pharma, etc., infiltration. While I still have a ways to go here, I'm interested in exploring the five dimension and the role of the divine, spirituality, in raising my consciousness to new levels. As I achieve greater understanding and open my heart to new possibilities while feeling in tune with my greater purpose, I feel a spiritual awakening stirring inside of me. As a cerebral, logical person, INTP, I'm feeling a rush of excitement as a whole new world reality begins to open itself up to me, and all I want to do is uncover new mysteries and keep growing, evolving my consciousness. Do you have any advice for someone undergoing this process at this stage? And more importantly, do you have an educational resources that you'd recommend to me? I just started reading the Ascension Glossary. Not sure if a legitimate source. Ordered Manly P. Hall's book, Secret Teaching of All Ages. Thank you. Okay. So, I appreciate all the kind words, of course. Here's the thing. Okay. Okay, I want to say this first. I had an amazing podcast today with David. Okay, incredible account, Arsenal. You're gonna be seeing it drop pretty soon. I'm gonna retweet the shit out of it. He did a great job and really gave me an opportunity to talk at length about these topics. So I'm gonna direct a lot of this to that podcast because I spent like an hour talking about this stuff, and I'm not gonna spend an hour talking about it now. What I will say is that the main books that I recommend people read, the main books I recommend people read are Frederick Dodson, Levels of Energy, and David Hawkins, Power versus Force. Two most important ones to understand energy and the levels of it. After that, and Manly P. Hall is actually very good. Manly P. Hall, The Secret Teachings of All Ages. You have magic. There's all sorts of stuff. He's a very good introductory source to these things. So, but here's the deal. As you get to higher levels, pursuit of knowledge, trying to accumulate resources and information to read about things, that is very much an intellectual pursuit. It's very 4D stuff. I will definitely link that podcast. You're going to see me retweet it. It was really well done. It's really well done. This is when you start to move into like 5D. I don't want to give the impression that you don't read or anything, but what you read is very much what you're called to read. And you might learn from a mentor who has a sort of energy or something that you care about and you want to get there. There's less information because 5D isn't really about information. 5D is really about knowing from a deeper level. So I think it's useful to understand the intellectual resources on it because it does help to organize some of these things. But you could find some old, Catholic woman who's really into God and everything, and really into Jesus, and she does her Hail Marys all the time, and she could be in fear consciousness. But some of these women are actually super like connected to God, super connected to God, right? And you know that they haven't done the research. You know that they haven't been like checking out all the details, all the books, but they're more plugged in. So part of the big jump, because whenever you make the jump from 3D to 4D, 4D to 5D, you have to set aside a completely different way of thinking. You have to completely change the way you think about things. That's why it's difficult. It's much easier to move within sort of levels, within the ranges of consciousness, because they're the same paradigms accepted, you just respond to it differently. You respond to it deeper. So aside from those resources, a lot of it is going to be what you're called to. What's what you're called to, basically. All right. Let's see. What's next here? Ooh, whoa, man, we got some big stuff. Big question. Okay. All right. It's a long one. Hi, Pat. Thanks for taking the time to put together this Q&A. Below, I provide some information regarding my situation, followed by a few questions. All right. You guys ready for this? I'm going to take a sip. Let's take a sip. I am in my early 30s with a PhD from a top STEM program. And now I live in a major metropolitan area with high job security and a good salad, $200,000, doing something that I love. I am socially adjusted enough to have an easy time making friends with men and women alike. Despite this, I remain a virgin. The way I was raised, along with the messaging I received from society, led me to believe that the proper way to achieve success with women was to differentiate myself from other men and just be a good person that treated women with the highest level of respect. Example, be a genuine nice guy. I have worked my entire life to become this kind of man. I understand that now that the end result is that I never learned the skills to generate desire, skills that would complement my ability to provide comfort. Essentially, I am now set up to be the perfect beta bucks provider. To address my deficiencies, I am now hitting the gym, looking into how to make myself more presentable, reading material on how to generate desire, etc. Despite the fact that I have a clear path forward to improve my situation, I can't help but feel pretty bad about having wasted my teens and 20s adhering to a strategy that clearly does not work. I do not hate women for where I have ended up. I love women. However, I do carry a great deal of resentment towards society as a whole for giving me bad information on how to achieve romantic success. My questions: do you think I am justified in harboring this resentment? And should I answer it first? And two, regardless of whether or not I am justified, I suspect that me being resentful like this will be a hindrance towards me achieving the romantic success I have craved for nearly 2 decades. How do I move past being resentful like this? Okay. All right. So, do I think he's justified in harboring this resentment? Yes and no. Okay. One of the big things we talk about with consciousness is that the issue about resentments, and this is what stops a lot of people, is that it's not really about whether they're true or not. I mean, people are always throwing their shit onto you. People are always not giving you what you want. Resentment comes from not communicating what you want. It comes from not communicating your needs. It comes from not going after your needs. And it's really a projection mechanism, because if you communicate your needs and you don't get what you want, then you might view the person as your enemy or whatever, or you might, but there's a detachment. Resentment comes from this sort of sense like you want them to acknowledge your needs. You want them to give you something, but you haven't really asked for it. It's always the case. If you ask for it, they won't give it to you. Then you suddenly feel like a release from caring about them. So you might be like, fuck this person, but you're not going to feel resentful. So yes, it's not fair on a certain sense that you're in this position. It's not fair in the sense that, why are you, despite doing all these things right, not getting girls? It's not fair. But A, you're not communicating or acting according to your needs, and B, you being lied to on one hand isn't your fault. But the other thing is, yeah, it's fixable. You can do things to change your situation. And so, yes, it is definitely going to be a hindrance. And look, I do this every now and then. I do it every now and then. But I just gotta do it. I gotta do this. You should be working with me. You should be working with me. because you're in a great financial position, you're dealing with other things in your life, and you have some deep issues, and you need to, and you're not in a bad position with time, but you do need to take advantage of your time. You need to take advantage of it. So if I mean, and you don't have to work with me, you can work with somebody, but you are really someone who should be getting coaching. You should be really like diving fully into this stuff because you don't have any sort of other indicators or stuff that's holding you back. So you are there's no I have worked with guys in the exact same fucking situation, okay? STEM degree, never, virgins. Um, Sometimes maybe they've been with an escort or something, but they've never maybe hooked up with a girl on their own from their own sort of scale or whatever. Work with multiple clients like this, and it's totally fixable. It's totally legit, but you have to take ownership. Take ownership of what you've done. Take ownership of what you've done. Yeah, and don't read Rollo. I think he already has because I hear the beta bucks being thrown around. The big thing here is just look. I told this to some of my clients before. It might feel like I'm 33 or I'm 30. I'm in my early 30s, and I'm a virgin, and I feel like I've been screwed over and I didn't get anything I wanted. Guys, if you're making that kind of money, you got a good job. Look, like you focus on different things, and some people focus on one thing, and then they focus on women, they fuck a bunch of girls, and then their career's kind of off, and they have to fix that. Early 30s is fine, okay? It's never too late, but early 30s is fine. Total like high chance of full recovery. I will tell you, if you wait till your early 40s, it gets harder, and when you get way past that, it gets to be tough. 20s through early 30s is a really easy fix. But as you get into your 30s, the longer you wait, the harder it becomes to change these patterns. So, yeah, you gotta watch out for the bitterness. And I can tell you, like the guys I've worked with in this, they're fucking girls. They got girlfriends now, so it's not a easy solution. Easy solution. I want to say easy solution. I want to set expectations. There's work involved. But if you put the work in, you'll get there. It might even take a year, but you'll get there. You'll get there, no problem. Probably less. Depends. Okay, next question. New follower, big fan of your 5D approach. I have a dating question from the woman's side of your broadcast. That woman's side. How can a woman be both feminine and a powerful contributor to the alchemy in a relationship with an alpha guy? I started seeing a high-value guy about 2 months ago. He's ex-SWAT, mechanical engineering background turned pilot. Still has high EQ, emotional intelligence. Treats me well, great sex, stated his intentions on the first date, and says his mom already likes me because I encouraged him to go to visit over the holidays. He likes strong women. Curious what your perspective is on how a woman can energetically be an asset and a team player to a man like this. Thank you, and thank you for your voice on this odd platform. This is a great question. Well, I mean, I gotta say, from the way it's being described here, I love this. I mean, and guys, this is a really great example of why you can't listen to these fucking bitter people. Because look at this woman right here. Look at this question. And there are women out there like this. How can I be feminine and contribute to the alchemy in a relationship with a guy? How can he's a high value guy. I appreciate him. How do I give? How do I make this a better relationship? You got to drop all this like bitterness around women and just understand which women are broken and, you know, cordon it off as best you can. So I have to say, I'm looking at this stuff. It sounds like things are going great. It sounds like things are going great between the two of you. It's 2 months in. I think that the biggest thing that you can do, there's two things I would say. Two things. The first is understand that, this guy in particular, and he's a tough guy, right? Ex-SWAT, intelligent, physically fit, right? seems to have some of his heart center activated. He's a high quality guy, as you said. This guy does not want drama and bullshit. Okay, doesn't want drama and bullshit. He wants you to be something that he can relax into and enjoy. But what he wants is for you to also be the trusted voice that can tell him both when he does, if and when he does fuck up. And maybe this guy, in terms of a masculine standpoint, doesn't do that. But I think also to be the container for to not be the container for him, but to be, if he's got some wounds, if he's got some baggage, to give love to him there. To not just simply, you know, fuck him and, turn him on, everything. All that stuff's really important. But also to be somebody who is like his biggest advocate and a healing presence to his wounds. So he can feel like if he has to, he can relax into you, right? And it gives him more incentive to be strong for you. And if he starts to falter, to also be able to call him out for not going further enough. You obviously want to get time with him, and you want to, and it sounds like, and if you do this stuff, the thing is, these guys will want to spend more time with you. I should work with women, right? They want to spend more time with you when you give them this kind of stuff. But it's also, I think this is like the bigger one from a big picture perspective, is you need to understand whatever his mission is. You need to respect that and not try to take it away from him. Right? He wants you to be his biggest advocate. So I think a lot of this is being a mirror for him. And, him really feeling safe with you, him really, really feeling safe with you. It's important. It sounds like the sex stuff is covered pretty well. I don't have to get into that. But to be honest, I mean, from the sounds of, when people ask these kind of questions, they're already doing like 95%. So it's kind of like, there's the extra 5%. But, I'm not really talking to you. I'm talking to any other women who are eavesdropping here. All right, next question. Hey, Pat, any advice on holding on or dealing with tension in the body? I seem to make worse decisions or waste time to release tension. Trying to find a way to deal with tension instead of unconsciously getting rid of it through unhelpful ways. So, the main ways that we deal with tension, this is a common problem for guys, okay? Guys have a hard time controlling their energy. And what's energy? Tension. So guys produce a lot of energy, but they also deal with a lot of energy because of the nature of being a guy. Because the nature of being a guy means you take on these burdens, you challenge yourself, and so you are engaging directly with energy. Okay? And so what that experience is that there's a lot of tension. Okay? And so how do you deal with it? Well, the easiest way to deal with it is the 5D grounding. Because when you have the 5D grounding, then you surrender to anything that occurs. And so all the energy is grounded to the higher source. So you both get powered higher, but you have like a ton of buffer for you. When you get detached from that, then you have to deal with all that tension on your own. And that's when people get frayed. That's when the stress starts to happen. Okay. I got the last bet. It's going to be in just a couple hours. My last bet. And it's going to be $220,000 all told. Okay. I'm fine. I'm really fine. If I've been stressed about anything, it's been getting the bets in, I gotta get these bets in. I'm okay. And honestly, if it blew up in my face, I'd be okay. I'd be okay with it. It would suck. I'd be okay with it. So, but that's because I'm grounded in the bigger perspective. It's like, well, it happened for a reason. So it's okay. Now, that's very big picture. We want to get more granular here. We want to talk about things on The practical techniques about dealing with tension, a lot of guys will jerk off, right? Don't want to do that. Don't want to do that. I know it went down to 18-1. I know it went down to 18-1. It's a shame. Terrible odds, right? I just want to make a little side comment here. It's like I got my first ones in on Betfair at 14-5, and then at 18-5. I was like, man, it's great. And we were all like, yeah, God, I wish we had gotten the 14-5 ones and an 18-5. And then it went up to 20, 26, and we're like, oh shit, we should have gotten a 26. And then it went up to 30, 32, 34. And it was like, now everything seems like it's nothing because you started to get money in at 30, 32. But it's like still 18-1 odds, guys. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous payoffs. But yeah, I mean, you're not going to get, there's a difference when you put 5,000 pounds in and you're going to get 180,000 pounds as a payoff. I mean, that's a whole different craziness. It's just crazy. It's just crazy stuff. But anyway, so the tension, okay, let's be practical here. So people jerk off a lot of times. I wouldn't recommend it. The only kind of jerking off that I recommend, and that's if you're really like filled up, really filled up, and that's if you circulate energy. You can use that as an energy practice. But I think it's better to even get used to not doing that. It can lead you down a slippery slope. Breathing is the best way to do it. Okay, so get barefoot. I know it's winter, but ground yourself, get out of nature, and breathe. Breathing. Everybody who has a hard time dealing with tension isn't breathing, and I'm talking about myself. When I get stressed, my breathing, I'm not breathing. I'm not breathing in deep. I have very shallow breaths. That is a really big practice. If you can breathe in, if you can practice your breathing, not only will it calm you down the focus on it, but you will start to regulate better. You'll start to regulate your breathing, your energy better. So there's that. Working out's great too. Working out's a great way to relieve energy. You burn off energy inside your body and also are able to create more energy as a result of it. A lot of people deal with stress by working out. They can go too far, but that's not the problem that most people face when it comes to exercise rather. Obviously alcohol releases energy too, but that's not a healthy way of dealing with it. So the main thing I'm going to tell you is to be in nature and breathe and get off of external sources of tension. Try to remove yourself from unnecessary tension. And the last thing I'll say, guys, I'm going to say it. Pray for help. I'm serious. This is the grounded in 5D. If you ask for help with things, you ask to give up the burden, you get the help. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of stuff, the angels, a lot of stuff up there that's able to help you out with this stuff. It makes it very easy. You stop caring, honestly. You stop caring. You stop worrying about it. But breathing, nature, animals, all good stuff. All right. Question about faith. Is that like trust in the divine plan destiny? Is surrender giving into that divine plan? Imagining myself there and I feel so much calmer and sure of myself. It makes all things death feel like a full void, empty but full of potential. If that makes any sense to you, I haven't had that piece in my life before. If I fulfill this further, I can see part of what you're talking about here. Surrender to destiny, that I even have one. Faith, it's all going according to plan. Loss of fear of death, it's all going to be okay. Full ticket to live, like the void I mentioned, brimming with potential, unafraid. I'm getting the sense that I'm coming at this backwards or something. Am I? Look, say this with love, but stop thinking about this so much. You're overthinking this entire shit. It's not necessary to think about it, this logical sequence of this and this and this. Although you surrender, you just surrender. You surrender your life. You give your life up. I can tell you that my consciousness jumped when I gave my life up. I did that. I gave my life up, and then it was easy after that. And you feel the love, you feel the support, and you go along with it. And, you're not going to be betrayed. You're not going to be betrayed. If you do have to die in some way, you will be at peace with it. So faith is a belief in the divine plan against all odds. And I think it's so interesting how this stuff works. So let me tell you about the books that I brought with me on my trip. Okay, two of the books in particular. So I brought Mishima, and I brought John Eldridge, Wild at Heart, and I brought Kierkegaard, Fear and Trembling. Now, Mishima was a book that I had been wanting to read just because Bap recommended it. And I have to be honest, Mishima, I brought it. I brought that in Celine. I didn't have a chance to get to Celine. I wasn't a big fan, to be honest. It didn't really speak to me. It was a little bit too dark, to be honest. But the book was dealing with some dark themes, so it wasn't exactly what I was looking for. The other two books, though, I read those books, and I want to tell you guys this. I bought Wild at Heart because a mentor of mine recommended it to someone I knew, and I just bought it impulsively. And I just sat on my shelf. I didn't intend to bring it, and then the morning of the trip, I saw it. I'm like, oh well, I should probably read this book. I just took it with me. The other book like that was Fear and Trembling from Kierkegaard. I had no idea who Kierkegaard was. Just the name sounded familiar as a philosopher, and I didn't know why I had it. I assumed it was from college, and I was like, well, I guess it's kind of religious. I guess I'll take it with me. And so I took those two books, and they were so impactful. And Kierkegaard, do you know where I got Kierkegaard? I saw from it. I had a bookmark in it from San Pedro de Atacama. Okay, San Pedro de Atacama is a tiny town in northeastern Chile, on the border with Bolivia. And when I was 21 years old, I backpacked by myself through that area. And there was a little bookstore there. And it was more like a book exchange. And I must have picked up that book when I was 21 years old and never read it. And I had that book on my bookshelf for 11 years, 11 and a half years. And then I picked it up for the trip. And Fear and Trembling is all about faith. It's all about faith. It's all about Abraham and Isaac and the faith of Abraham to give up Isaac to God. And he goes through it and he does logical deduction and stuff like that. By the way, I was 150 something hours fasted when I read this. I read like the entire thing in 2 hours. I had like super brain power. My brain was fucking like, I was like that meme, except it was true. It wasn't sarcastic. My brain was like, I could read dense psychology and just like tear through page after page after page. It's amazing. It's amazing what a fasted mind in nature is capable of. So anyway, the point of all this stuff was that he talks about faith, and I recommend it. Even if you don't go through the dialectic, it doesn't matter. He's just trying to fuck around with the Hegelians. It's pointless. But if you just read the rhetorical part, you can really get an idea of the incredibleness of faith, but that completely depends on not having even any proof in front of you, but just knowing. Just knowing. It's 5D. That's what it is. Which is why they say in Corinthians, faith, hope, and love. The most high vibration things. Patience, right? So, next question. Good ways to vet a woman to see if she's a good woman. Well, pretty open-ended. Let's see. Good ways to vet a woman to see if she's a good woman. Well, what's her friend situation like? I think you can tell a lot about a woman from who she surrounds herself with. I know, right? We went from like up here back to down here, which is okay. I love the whole range, and I think that's the way to really do it. I mean, that's why it's fun, because you can hit big picture, you can hit it granular. Yeah, as Ben's saying, who is she? Who's she friends with? What's her circle like? Right? You want to get an idea from the people she spends time with. if she surrounds herself with dumb, dumb sluts and, a bunch of degenerate people and loser dudes, and then just no. She's probably not. I mean, I'm not saying that's impossible, but you're not getting good feedback. Her family's really like trashy and broken, and she's really attached to it. Probably not a good sign of things to come, right? I mean, honestly, you have to be careful even when she doesn't want to be a part of it. I don't like to disregard women like that, because people leaving that situation are that's a positive sign. Yeah, relationship with father is a big one. No question about that. Relationship with father. Also, how does she carry herself? How does she take care of herself? Um, I think those are some of the biggest ones. Like, what are the values she has? But I want to just make the point when we talk about values, and this is a big mistake, is that people will assume a girl has values because she just simply says, "Hey, I'm Christian," or whatever. And then you actually dig into it, and she's like totally fucked up. It doesn't mean anything necessarily. It doesn't necessarily mean anything. You have to I talk about this, guys. Kindness is really important. Kindness is really important. I talk about this, guys. Okay, I talk about it all the time. Stop thinking about labels. Please stop thinking about labels. Okay, labels are mental shortcuts. It does not mean that you can just stop there. Okay, it does not mean that because you got a label. No, she's a good Christian girl. I can't even tell you. I can't even tell you how many guys have been fucked over by that one. That's a big one. That's a big one that you don't want to fuck up. You got to go a lot deeper. Yeah, she's a good Christian girl, and she's been gangbanged. I'm not even joking about this stuff. She's a good Christian girl. Very modest. Seriously. You really gotta you really gotta watch out. Dig deeper for sure. For sure, dig deeper. All right. Next one. Do you know anything about the term twin flame, and how do you feel about the teachings of it? So twin flame is basically soulmate. It's basically your soulmate. I don't understand exactly why the spirituality community developed this terminology, twin flame. I'm sure there's a reason. What I think about the twin flame, guys, is I believe in soulmates. I believe in 5D connection, which is a soul connection between two individuals. I think that most people who because like I've used this as an example for a while. It really got me thinking about this, guys, and I'm gonna throw it out for you so you can ponder it yourselves. When I met my wife is an identical twin. Okay, my wife is an identical twin. She's a tall, thin, beautiful woman. She's an identical twin. She had dyed her hair blonde. Okay, and I have nothing against blondes. I think I'm slightly impartial to brunettes, slightly impartial. But certainly with her sort of features, brunette looks better. And her identical twin was brunette, did not have her hair dyed or did not have it dyed radically different from her natural hair color. And I met them both, and I went after my wife. Now, her and her sister have similar personalities, but I'm not, obviously I think her sister's physically attractive because she looks like my wife, but I'm not drawn to her like I am to my wife. Someone's got to try to explain that to me. Someone's got to explain that to me. I do have a funny story about this, actually, though. So that was the first time we met. We kissed, didn't talk for months. I was a little bit too aggressive. I wasn't very calibrated. Months later, we went on a date. We went to a party together, and her and her sister both wore costumes. At this point, my future wife, right, had gotten brown hair again, and so they both had the same color hair, and they both went into a room together. And then one came out, and they were wearing a costume. And this is like my first date, second time I'd seen her. And I didn't know, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure. I didn't have like certainty, but I was like, I don't think it's her. I'm gonna hold off, which was good because it was her sister. Because I could tell then when she came out, she was like, being all handsy and everything. I'm like, okay, but we were early on, so it wasn't clear. You're not necessarily getting signals all the time, especially because we were in a group. But yeah, it's amazing. So, but people have to explain this stuff to me about like if that's all that there is, because there's more. There's obviously more. We people talk about attachment patterns. I hate to break it to those people, but pretty much everybody has attachment issues. Oh yeah, she's a little avoidant, you're a little anxious. Welcome to the fucking club. That's not a good enough reason to pull two people together. So there's something going on a higher level that two souls decide to connect with each other to do the work, right? That happens. But people in the spirituality community, in my perspective, in my experience, haven't really done the work. They haven't really done the work for the most part. There's exceptions, of course, but they haven't really done the work. There's tons of bullshit thrown around, tons of rationalization for all the problems that they have. And to be fair, a lot of them do try to do the work, but I don't think that they're using the correct tools all the time. There's not enough masculine energy in the spirituality community. If there's not enough masculine energy, there's not enough people breaking you down and telling you the truth. You need a balance. You need a balance of that sort of healing. It's all okay. You're going to be fine energy. And you need some of that. Yeah, but you fucking suck and you're full of shit. And that's okay too. But you got to change that. So I do know about the term twin flames, but I think it's pretty bullshit. Did that actually just drop? Fuck. I hope my last bet tomorrow is going to be on good terms. See, I just keep hoping like people in the UK, they get the media is so bad there that no one knows what's going on. So it'll be fine. All right, guys, last question. I know I got tons more, but I'm going to try to keep these to an hour. And like I said, we'll just do these in a couple of days. I got one more. Okay. You talk a lot about not dating girls with extreme anxiety and who have panic attacks, etc. What if she's a really decent person and just has had recent trauma like a family death, cheated on by an ex, stressful work, etc.? Is that the case where you could help the girl heal, or are you playing with fire? Okay. So here's something I got to say, guys, to this question. Maybe people aren't going to like this, but I got to say it. A family death, being cheated on by an ex, stressful work situation. These are things that are going to happen. I mean, maybe not being cheated on, although it's not uncommon. These are things that are going to happen in your life. They're going to happen. Okay. I'm not saying that they're great stuff. They're going to happen. I love my parents and I don't want them to die, but they will die. It's going to happen. They'll die. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. Thank God. But they will die at some point. And them, unless it is someone who really was not expected to die, like very young, this is not something that should be maturity. Emotional maturity is being able to handle these things. Now I understand that people deal with this stuff differently, and grieving is completely okay. But when we talk about panic attacks and we talk about this stuff, the point I'm trying to say is that these things are traumatizing, but the panic attack response to it is really more a result of prior trauma and an inability to handle adversity. And the issue is that you are going to have to hold space for most women. You're going to have to be there for them. You're going to have to be the strong one. And that's okay. And you're going to have to, of course, be okay with the fact that something bad happens and she's going to cry. She's going to be upset, and don't judge her for that. Don't dismiss it. It's bullshit to dismiss that stuff. But if this is like a really serious thing, like you're having panic attacks, they can't process it, they're losing themselves, or they can't handle it, and goes on with a stressful work situation, you just gotta like, this is a sign of bad emotional regulation, and that means that you're gonna have to regulate it. That's your energy going out the window. That's your energy going out the window. Just saying that very bluntly. Your energy is going out the window when you have to handle that stuff from a woman. And the sort of answer here, can you help the girl heal, or are you playing with fire? The girl's responsibility to heal is her own. It is her responsibility to do the work, to heal, to want to heal, to acknowledge the fact that she's got this bad regulation. And you can be there to help her heal, right? As you said, you can help her heal, but she has to want to heal. And unfortunately, when most guys say, can I help her heal? What they mean is, can I do the work for her? Can I help her? Can I like go out of my way to help her, rather than simply be there for her as she is doing the work? So, look, a woman who is a very good person and has all this trauma. These are sweet girls. I know these girls. I have friends who are like this. They're really sweet. They would do anything for anybody. They're not manipulative. Okay? And maybe I'm projecting, but maybe this is not the girl. She's not manipulative or anything like that. It's very difficult for guys to leave these girls because they are good people and they want to help, they want to give, but they just are pretty tapped out. I'm not saying that you can't be with a girl like this, but you need to understand that you will be getting your energy drained. You are, in some ways, dealing with a charity case. And the biggest thing about this is that you don't want to be dealing with a charity fucking case. So if you're going to be with a woman like this, you need to also if you're going to help her heal, that means boundaries. That means you got to go in and you got to see somebody, you got to do this stuff. I mean, I can't tell you whether or not to be with them because it's kind of a trade-off case when they're really good people. But you should understand that you are going to be dealing with a lot of their crap, all the time. And a lot of the stuff isn't that big of a deal, but they can't handle it. And know what you're getting into. I can also tell you, I'm going to throw it out there. Girls that get damaged this badly by this stuff tend to have lower sex drives because they're depressed and upset all the time. And so your sex life is going to suffer as well. And so what you will usually find in these situations is you're dealing with a girl, you're carrying a girl who is really hurt and upset all the time, and she wants to meet your needs and she feels guilty about not being able to meet your needs, but she's also incapable of doing it because she's fucked up and broken from all this stuff. So I personally think that these women need to spend a lot of time on their own because they don't have any sort of masculine energy in them. And I know that we don't want women with masculine energy, but we do want a woman to mature, and that requires some exploration of this autonomy. And these women are like the quintessential bird with the broken wing. So my recommendation is to yeah, I don't know, it's up to you. But usually they just need time by themselves. Time by themselves to heal and to learn how to be an independent person is what makes these girls into good partners. I'm going to check that out. And guys, we're done for tonight. COVID cabal tomorrow. COVID cabal tomorrow. Next dating relationship Periscope Thursday. I love you, and I will see you later.